Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the great James G. He's a restaurateur legend here in Dallas-Fort Worth. You're going to hear his incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, it's no secret that the restaurant industry is tough. There's a lot of people who think they're going to make a fortune in restaurants, and the margins are razor thin, and there are restaurants that are so crowded you can't get in for a year, and then the next year they're closed. It takes a certain kind of individual to lead a restaurant concept so that they can stand the test of time. James G. is in the studio, and he is known for amazing concepts, including Albernays and Truluck's. James, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, tell me about your first entry into restaurants in Dallas.
I was 18 years old. I didn't know anything. I worked at Burger King going to high school. And a friend of mine's dad worked at Biernat's, which is the most famous restaurant in the history of Dallas. And I wanted to go to work at that place. And so I told my friend, whose dad worked there, I want a job because they don't hire anybody unless you have 5 years experience. I said, well, I've got a sister that has big influence. So I had my sister go down there with me. And she knew the manager. We talked. And he said, you know, we don't hire anybody that experience. How old are you? I said, I'm 18. He goes, where'd you work? I said, Burger King. He goes, well, you got a personality. Maybe you'll be okay. He said, well, make a deal. 3 weeks, make it or break it. I said, deal. I made it. 52 years later.
Wow.
I'm still here.
Well, and you and I met through Albernays North, which is one of my favorite restaurant concepts.
Yes.
And we lost the great Albernays not too long ago.
Awful. He was a tremendous man.
Tell us some of the lessons you learned from Al.
Al had the great personality. And he was a person, people person. I'm a people person. And it's all about relationships in this industry. It's, you know, knowing people and having a good product, which Al does. We still have a good product. Him passing has not changed anything. We're still going, both stores are going strong. But his passion was people. I chose that passion a long time ago. Because if you don't have relationships with people and don't have passion with people, they're going to forget who you are. And nobody has ever, still this day, people still talk to me about how they knew Al, how they met Al. And he just had a passion, and I've been the same way. I mean, Al was an entrepreneur who made it. He had a good product. He had great atmosphere. He took Brad under his wing because his nephew was his sister's son. And he has worked with alongside Al the entire career of Albernays, which is 27 years. And, you know, Al was just, when he walked, we would have a meeting every Wednesday at our store. And he would come in. He always had a funny joke. He liked fast cars. I like fast cars. So we always talked about cars. We talked about life. I had a special relationship with him other than outside of being my boss. We talked because he was friends with my family. And we just talked about all kind of things, life, God, you know, just what made us who we are.
Yes.
And he told me in the very beginning, he goes, you remind me of myself. You just have that, you care about people. You have a passion for people.
Yes.
And I do. I don't think I'm anybody special, but I know that I have a good heart. And when I talk to somebody, they remember me.
Yes.
And a lot of times I hand out my card. I meet like 2,000 people a week.
Wow.
I hand out my card, and a lot of these people are texting me. I don't know who they are. Hey, I met you. You gave me your card. Or they'll come in and go, oh, you met my friend. This is James. He's the manager at Albernays. And people just like, I don't remember them. Most of them I do, but a lot of them I don't. And I don't remember because I probably thought 3,000 people, 4,000 people since I saw you last. But people remember that.
Yes.
Because they remember my personality. They remember that I spoke to them more than once. Because I visit every single table more than once.
I love that.
Upon receiving you in and on your way out.
Yes.
I get probably one of the highest reviews of all the managers in the company. And they always notice how I dressed. They always say, you dress impeccable. And Brad and Al used to always tell me, man, you dress really pristine.
Well, and I can echo everything that James just said, because we reconnected through Biernat North just a few weeks ago, and it's how you make people feel. I know you serve a lot of celebrities, but you actually make everybody feel like a VIP.
Everybody's a VIP. When they come in your door, you don't know who they are. They could have no money, or they could be very wealthy. But you have to treat everybody the same because they spent time to come to Biernat.
Yeah.
We're an expensive restaurant, but they come and want to spend their time and either show off Biernat to their friends or their first time as a guest. And that's the connection I make when I first start talking to them. You ever been here before?
Yes.
If they hadn't, my next question is, well, how did you find out about us? And most of them say, well, a friend or social media, or I just looked it up, best steakhouse.
Yes.
We're rated the number one steakhouse in Dallas. We're also rated the top 17 best steakhouses in the United States.
Wow.
That's a big deal. There's
amazing.
millions of steakhouses.
Well, you do get to rub elbows with the rich and famous. We've got a little slideshow, and I'm going to have you narrate this because you've had a chance to meet some of the biggest names on the planet. So, Pudge.
Pudge. Pudge was a tremendous guy. He always came, he always texted me before he got there, said, I'm coming in, I'm bringing somebody with me, and give him the treatment.
Oh,
which I did.
All right, let's go to the next one. Barry Switzer.
Barry was a character. He stayed across the street at the hotel across the street there, and he just took a liking to me, and he was just a great guy, tremendous person.
Outstanding. Okay, next one. Glenn Beck.
Glenn Beck. My niece's husband, which is Dandra Simmons. Her husband's Jeremy Locke Simmons. Well, Jeremy Locke. They did a tour with this guy. They went to Afghanistan and brought back a bunch of girls who were in slavery. Mm-hmm. They took a special team with them. Mm-hmm. And then Jeff Beck had this big party, and I took my wife, and I believe that was in 2018, and Jeff was a great guy. Yeah. Jeremy still works for Jeff Beck, does things for him. But he was all about saving lives and doing the right thing for people.
All right, next one.
Oh.
Pete Delkus.
Pete, I love Pete. Pete's a character. He's always got a story to tell. He always admires me how I dress. He goes, yeah, dress me today. I said, well, you don't have a time today. I do. So he's a great guy.
All right, I think we might have one more slide. Heather Hayes, who I got to work with for 15 years.
Heather Hayes she's a sweetheart. She's not only a personal friend of my family's, but she's just a good woman. I have highly respect for her. Her children come in all the time, her daughters, and they're just good people.
Yes.
You know, her and the guy she works with.
Yeah, of course. See her. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just good friends of mine. They're good people. And meeting good people and getting to be with good people and rub elbows with them, that gives you a feeling of success.
Yes. I want to talk about your early days, even before the restaurant industry, because it wasn't like you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You had adversity. So as a child, your lungs didn't develop?
Right. I was born with what they called a barrel chest, which means your lungs didn't develop. So I was, they wrote an article about me when I was a young child in the Dallas Morning News, and they said I was the 50th worst asthmatic case in the United States. Wow. And they said, I went to a good doctor, Dr. Sellers, who was the best in his industry. And we couldn't afford it at the time, but he took a liking to me and my parents. And he told my dad, you just pay me $10 a month. I want to take care of James. But when I got to be about 7, he told my dad in secrecy that my dad never always told me the truth. He said, he'll never live to be 9 years old. He said, that's not going to happen. He said, he's way far gone, but I'll continue to see him. And so over the years, you know, I told my dad, well, I'm not going to die. I'm going to survive. And so my mom took me to this place at the YWCA she heard about called Run for Your Life. This guy was named Joe Ibarra. And she went and talked to him, and he said, Miss G, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but your son's way beyond the capacity that I deal with. He said, I deal with just regular asthmatics. I had asthma and emphysema.
Wow.
Emphysema, as you know, is incurable.
Sure.
I don't have it anymore.
Wow.
So I just reached over to her and said, listen, I'm only 9 years old, but I want to learn what you can show me. I'm not going to die. And that did something to him. And so it was a challenge. So I went to the YWCA 3 times a week to meet with this guy, and my mom would cry. So my dad said, quick, just leave. Because he has really been, they thought abusive to me, but he was teaching me to be tough and stand up for myself and all that. So he taught me all these things, and time went on, 12 years old, 13 years old, and I turned 14, and mysteriously never had an asthma attack again. Emphysema was gone. The doctor that I went to all those years, he wrote an article about me, and he put that in the Dallas Times Herald article up in his office to tell other kids there's hope.
And you became an athlete. I mean,
Yes, I did. Yeah. I'm a martial artist, a very good one. I ran track in high school, and my parents I never always agreed on everything. I wanted to be in sports. My mom said, no, Bill, he'll die. He'll get there and die. And he said, I'm going to override you this time. If James dies out there on the field, he died doing what he wanted. So
beautiful.
But going on, I made it. I got into bodybuilding. I did all kind of things. And, you know, I just turned 70 August 3rd.
You look great.
And I appreciate it. My wife thinks so anyway. So I'm married to a really beautiful woman. She's 16 years younger than me. Her name is Peggy. And she's a senior paramedic at Truluck in the ER.
Oh.
When I met her, she was the vice president of Bank of America in Highland Park.
Wow.
In home mortgages. And then years down the road, she changed her career. And I said, why? She goes, I want to save lives. I go, why? And she goes, well, somebody saved your life.
Wow.
So that's what she does.
Well, you had another health setback.
Yeah.
Can you share that with us?
This is 2025, 2022, first of 22, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's how my father passed away. And my mother passed away of pancreatic cancer, so our whole family's been riddled with cancer. So I got diagnosed. So my sister, Dee Simmons, took me to UT to the special doctor, and they ran all these tests on me. And then they said, well, your PSA is kind of high. And my PSA had always been low, but I had zero symptoms. I mean, zero. And so they said, you need to meet this guy, Klaus Rober, and he's the head of all urology, and he'll determine. So I went and talked to him and said, Klaus, I have nothing. He goes, no, your PSA is high. That's your family history. I got to do an MRI on you. And I said, well, I can't do MRIs. I got claustrophobia. He goes, you had to put me to sleep. He goes, that's impossible. I said, well, I bet my sister can get it done, which she did. So I did MRI. So he called me the next day and said, you have a lesion on your prostate. Doesn't mean you have cancer, but I've got to do a fusion biopsy. So I went in a few weeks later, did the biopsy, and I was watching it on the screen while he was doing it.
Wow.
And there's this green dot. He goes, that's where your cancer is. So I'm going to take a sample. So he took 6. And I said, why'd you take 6 if that's what it was? He goes, well, family photos. So then I knew something was wrong. So he said, so he called me and said, you got cancer, very aggressive. They go by a thing called a Kegel score.
Okay.
And mine was up high. So I had a 7 on this side and a 6 on this side.
Wow.
10 is basically death. So I went and saw him, my wife and my sister, and he said, you only have 2 options, radiation or prostotomy, which is removal. And so my sister said, no, radiation stays in your body for life. Have it removed. So I had it removed. That was on February 23rd of 2022. And so I went in there, and he said, right before the operation, he walked in the room, I sure said, okay, is there still in this prostate? He goes, D, I told you. She goes, okay. So after I woke up, my wife was sitting there, my sister, which I figured they were. And they said, Klaus is going to come talk to you. I go, well, of course, I just had an operation. So he walked in the room, before he even took his mask off, my sister said, don't lie. He goes, well, his lymph nodes were hard, and there's another part of my body that had some bad issues. Mm-hmm. And so my sister got kind of upset and goes, he said, D, I'm not a magician. That's what I saw. And so I broke down, started crying, said, man, I'm going to die like Daddy did. She goes, no, you're not going to die. I run UT Southwestern Cancer Center. I help everybody. I'm not going to let my brother die.
Wow.
So they send everything to, UT does first biopsies and checks everything. And then they send everything to the Mayo Clinic because they're second to make sure it's 1,000% correct.
Yes.
So I went there, and so I was supposed to get a call next Wednesday and find out the test results. So the whole week I was on edge, sitting at home, recovering. Wednesday came around, he didn't call. I thought, wow. I told my wife, I'm going to die. It's already in, so I'll spread it all over my body. And so that Thursday morning, my sister called me like at 7 o'clock. And she goes, did you talk to Klaus? I go, no, it's 7:30. I'm sleeping. And she goes, well, get up. I talked to Klaus. I thought, great, I'm dying. So I said, okay, what's up? She goes, well, I talked to Klaus. And he said, D, have I ever been wrong? She says, not that you'd admit. He goes, I don't know what happened, but there's no cancer anywhere in his body.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, there's nothing. He goes, I don't know what happened. She goes, well, we believe in God, Klaus, and I think that's what happened. And I'm cancer-free, and I just went and had all my tests done when I turned 70, before I turned 70, to make sure I was still in good health. I wanted to be around my wife a little longer.
Yes.
And I went to Dr. Billy Adela, who's my general practitioner, and he goes, man, there's nothing wrong with you.
Mm. Well, you are clearly a fighter. We have about 2 minutes left. So, James, what's your advice to maybe a young person starting out in whatever industry? I mean, clearly everything that you've achieved in your life has been through grit, tenacity, overcoming obstacles. What's your advice to a young person?
My advice to people who, if you're going to get in the industry I'm in, it's the hardest one there is. It's not always flamboyant. It's hard, long hours. You deal with all sorts of people. But it's also rewarding if you want to do it and stay in. You have to stay in. It's not a deal you're going to do it. Well, I'm going to do this for a short period of time and jump to something else. It's a career choice I made a long time ago. I decided to stay in the industry. I had choices to do other things many, many times. But I always wanted I want to be around people. And, I just, my wife goes, when are you going to retire? I said, I'm not. I would like to be around people. I've sat at home all day. If I got paid triple what I make, and sat at home, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I got to be around people.
I'm with you. James, we're the same person. Thank you for blessing me with your heart and your wisdom. And
thank you.
And, thank God for you being cancer-free and sharing your testimony.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. We're going to end with his Instagram page. We're going to put that on the screen so you can get in touch with him, the great James G. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.